Hello everyone, GoodraFTW here, and welcome back to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So today, what we're going to talk about is a few new things that are going on in the game. So we have a few things in our inbox here. So basically what this is saying is they're adding smuggler tugs, smuggler tugs, good job, smuggler tags, there we go, to a bunch of new characters, and also thermal detonators will no longer be able to be dispelled. They will be a locked debuff. So this goes hand in hand with some other things that we're going to talk about, which is Zam Wessel actually got updated. I'm not sure if it says that anywhere, but she did get updated, and we're going to have a lot more thermal detonator synergy going on. So they had to make them a little more viable, which is nice. It's good that instead of nerfing certain strategies, they are kind of trying to make other ones better, which is their philosophy. That's what they like to do. They like to bring other characters up to the level of the current characters so that no one gets forgotten, which is definitely a lot better kind of philosophy than just, oh, it's too good, let's just nerf it and stop it. So it's a good trade-off, I guess. So the characters that are being tagged as smugglers are Young Han, Vandor Chewie, Young Lando, Kira, L3, Infus Nest, Veteran Smuggler Han and Chewie, and then OG Raid Han. So most of those are the solo characters, but we do have a few that are not, being the final three. So we actually have Bastilla Shan and Jolie Bindo are now farmable. So we have Darkside 5B and Fleet Battles Hard 2D for Bastilla Shan, and we have Darkside Hard 6D and Fleet Battles Hard 4E. So Jolie is actually on more difficult nodes than Bastilla Shan, which is interesting. Very well could be because of his revive, maybe. I don't really think so, but maybe. But you'd think Bastilla Shan would be the one that they would want to kind of make a little more less obtainable. But oh well. Then we have, they are reducing the cost of hard node refreshes. So once you do your 8 battles for, well, right now it's 8 battles, normally it's been 5, but after you do your 8 battles on a particular node, if you haven't noticed it before for some reason, you can actually refresh that node and get your 8 attempts back. So they're reducing the cost of that, probably because not a lot of people bought it. So they are going to change that for a little bit, and it says it applies to light side, dark side, and fleet battles. So not too bad. And now we also have Embo added to Chromium Pack. So Embo will be the next character to see a release in farmable locations. So, but the other big things that we're talking about. So let's see. Let's just search. We're gonna look at Zam's new kit here. She has a leader ability now, which doesn't really do much. We're going to upgrade it as far as we can go without using any Omegas or Zetas. Alright, so basically she's just gaining potency. Well, bounty hunters are gaining potency, health, and protection whenever a thermal detonator deals damage to an enemy. And also when they inflict when they use the special ability, they put a thermal detonator on the selected target, and then she has a contract which you have to inflict 20 bombs on enemies, and when they do that, all the bounty hunters have their payouts activated. All bounty hunters inflict thermal detonators on all enemies whenever they die, so it's not really that great, but it is new, so sure. And then also she does have a payout as well, so when she does get her payout, I am going to max that out. So whenever an enemy takes damage from a thermal detonator, Zam has a 25% chance to dispel all debuffs on herself. She gains stealth for 1 turn, and she gains 2% max protection until the end of the encounter. So it's not too bad. She's definitely a lot better. It's nice that they finally added a payout to her, which is good. They have added a Zeta to Shapeshifter, and I think they actually just changed it completely. So now she's gaining 20% either offense, max protection, or max health, depending on other scoundrel allies that are on the squad. So offense for attacker, protection for tank, and health for support and healers. And I believe they changed electro goggles as well, so now inflicts evasion down on all enemies for 4 turns, and a thermal detonator on all enemies that already had a thermal detonator for 2 turns. She then recovers 10% protection for each enemy with a thermal detonator. Zam gains 50% turn meter, and this can't be evaded. So it's actually inflicting a debuff for 4 turns is actually a long time, especially when you consider like how much turn meter manipulation there can be. I mean, there's not really a lot of evasion going on in the arena meta right now, so it's probably not the biggest help, but it's still a long time. So we're gonna transition from regular characters over to ships, because we actually have a new ship dropping tomorrow, which is Cad Bane's Xanadu Blood, and this is actually going to give a lot more synergy with this, what is it, Breach, I think? Yeah, so this, let's see, he's basically inflicting Breach on like every single ability, and breached enemies will have less offense. I feel like there's something else. Oh, is it this? No. What is it? There's something I saw somewhere that it might be, is it this? Yeah, okay. Yeah, right here it says Bounty Hunter allies deal bonus damage equal to 10% of the target's max health when damaging breached enemies. So you're doing bonus, like massive chunks of bonus damage on the other enemies whenever they have breach. So a lot of breach going on. It kind of looks like that's where they're heading with the bounty hunters, as we've seen with Bosk's kit. Just all kinds of, well, he was the first one to bring in this breach thing. I don't remember exactly what he does, and I don't really care to go look, but so there are a few other bounty hunters that we can get ships for. We will take a look at the available bounty hunters. I always hit the wrong button. We have so Boba Fett's already got one. Zam probably won't. IG-88 probably will. Greedo, I'm not sure. Dengar will probably have one. I'm not sure if Aura Singh or Embo will. But if you look down here, we have a new character on the way. And this, we're finally getting Jango Fett, who just looks absolutely bonkers. So if you haven't seen any of the Game Changers videos on him, they're going to do a lot better job at explaining him and showing him off. So I'd suggest just going and watching them. But I just kind of want to talk about something that worries me when it comes to Jango Fett. So obviously, he is more than likely going to be a legendary character. I highly doubt that they will subject him to a marquee event. I wouldn't put it past them to do it, because it would probably make them a lot of money. But I feel like this is going to be a legendary character. Now, the thing that worries me about that is if they decide to make him a legendary character and he's going to be available soon, there's a good chance that we're going to need characters that have not been available to farm for very long. Whether that is the prequel trilogy bounty hunters like we have here, or if it is, it goes hand in hand with our new smuggler tag, which the majority of these characters just became farmable like a couple weeks ago. And I've been actually farming Lando Calrissian since like one of the first few days they became farmable. So it kind of worries me in that sense, because if they do that, it's basically putting Jango Fett behind a paywall, and that's not a precedent that I think should be set for this game. I'm pretty free to play, and I know there's a lot of people who are free to play, and I get that you want to try to push sales as much as you can. It is a business, but there has to be, you have to support you have to give the free to play players a chance at some of this content. And I know the whales will always get their first pick at everything, but for the free to play players who just play constantly and like just are maxed out on like everything just because they play so much, it's not really fair to them that they're locked out of it just because they're unable to farm all these characters up quickly. And this kind of happened before with the first time Jedi Ray came around. If you guys remember, they made not Vandor, but the veteran smugglers, both Han and Chewie. They had just made them farmable like a few weeks prior, like maybe a month, and they were Cantina node farms, hard, like the last tier Cantina node farms. If you know, if you've been farming them for Jedi Ray, they're the last two, which is a high energy, and they're very difficult nodes to do. Probably not so much anymore, but they were in the time. And so you take this, and you're expecting people to get these characters to 7 stars to unlock this character. Now, it very well could be that it is a legendary event, and they'll just let you unlock him to like 5 stars. And then those who didn't have the money to get all the 7-star scoundrels or all the 7-star bounty hunters, they can still have Jango Fett. They just won't have him at full power, which he'll probably still be decent, just because, like I said, he looks absolutely bonkers. But I don't know. It's just, it worries me that this is the position we're being put in, and especially with them giving this new tag, it definitely makes me think that Jango Fett will be locked behind this smugglers kind of route instead of like a scoundrel or bounty hunters. Which, if we look at the other legendary events, so let's see. Let's think. We have Jedi Master Yoda. So he's using actual Jedi, which is one of the only factions that the only event that uses the same faction as the character to get it, and that's just because it's like a training in the whole lore aspect of everything. So then we have Palpatine, which requires you to have Rebels. You have Thrawn, which requires you to have Phoenix. You have BB-8, which required you to have First Order, and R2-D2, which required you to have Empire. So all but one of those events required you to have a rival faction maxed out in order to do the event. So in this case, bounty hunters, well, Jango Fett is a bounty hunter. He's probably also technically a scoundrel, though, which probably pushes it more towards it's going to be, we can actually check if he's a scoundrel. I'm pretty sure he is, because a lot of the bounty hunters are actually scoundrels. Yeah, he's a scoundrel and a bounty hunter. So if I had to guess, they will probably put it behind the smugglers. They said in that little like tidbit on the inbox, it's for the upcoming event Smugglers Run, and for all we know, Boba Fett could actually be a reward in that. I don't know what this Smugglers Run thing they're talking about is. It's not on here. We do have the marquee event on here ready to go. It's primed. 6 hours to go, so tomorrow morning. But like I said, I'm just worried that it's going to be locked behind like not an obvious paywall, but it's definitely a paywall because you're definitely going to have to fork out some money to either refresh constantly or to just go ahead and buy the shards, which is kind of cheap. It's kind of a low blow, but I mean, it's a business, and I mean, it is EA, so what do you expect? But that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed something that I said. Let me know what you guys think about Jango Fett. Do you think he's going to be locked behind this smugglers thing? Honestly, I do hope that they just make it like 7-star scoundrels or 7-star bounty hunters, because we'd probably all be able to get him, which would be nice, because here lately we haven't had any characters that we could just max out right away. So, but like I said, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.